Mind Stretchers offers small group personalized tutoring, homeschooling classes around science and literacy, all hands-on and available to all of your kids in your family. And today, Tracy from Mind Stretchers is joining me so that we can get to know the behind the scenes of what Mind Stretchers actually is and how it can help your family. So without further ado, let's jump right
All
in.
right.
Thanks, Tracy. Thanks for joining me. Appreciate it. Let's jump straight in and have you share with us what Mind Stretchers actually is.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so thanks for having me on, Kylie. So Mind Stretchers, I started nearly 4 years ago now. So I was a primary teacher for 16 years and I left the classroom and I wanted to continue doing what I loved. And I also, at the same time, I took my kids out of school and we started to homeschool as well. And then over the last 4 years, I've sort of built up Mind Stretchers, and it's about I do tutoring, school students and homeschool students, and online classes, group classes as well for science and for literacy. So yeah, that's been over the last 4 years we've been doing that.
Fantastic. And you shared a little snippet, but I'd like to get a little bit more insight into Tracy. Like who is Tracy and obviously
Yeah,
your drive behind Mind Stretchers and homeschooling and anything you wish to share with us.
yeah, no worries. Look, I've just always loved teaching. I've always loved working with kids. Um, since since when I was at school, really. So that was always what I wanted to do. And I think as well, I like what I love about what I get to do at Mind Stretchers is I get to do the things that I'm passionate about. So it's not someone else saying you teach this, this, and this. I mean, I think that's really important. I know with my own kids, when they do online classes and things, when someone is really passionate about what they do and enthusiastic, that's really important because then the kids are engaged as well. So yeah, so that's why I do. I mean, I love science, and just getting kids curious about the world around them and questioning and thinking. And I think it's a great thing to be able to. Not to be limited by sort of what's on your doorstep, because for a lot of families in Australia, certainly for us living rurally, we don't have everything on our doorstep. So everything that my kids need or are interested in, we need to sort of go a bit further. So being able to do that in an online space is a really good thing because it doesn't limit you. There's no sort of barrier there. And I make the times for the homeschool classes suitable so that families can join from around Australia. So even if they're in WA, it's morning time for them, whereas it's lunchtime for most families. And it's about you get a family ticket for the class as well. So although there's a guide for the age, again, it's up to families because you know your kids best, what they're into, what their interests are as well. And then because it is family orientated, you can have siblings joining in or in the background and joining in different ways. Sometimes there's younger kids that might be and maybe they're doing, if we're learning about cells, for example, they might be making a model of a cell, and the older kids might be putting labels on of all the different parts. I mean, the younger kids might be doing something a little bit different, but still taking part in their own way, just being included as well. So I try and make it accessible. So there's different ways for kids of different ages to get involved.
That's great. Well done. And just to clarify, because you mentioned being rural, Mind
Yeah.
Stretchers is available for any homeschool child anywhere in Australia.
Yeah,
Yes.
absolutely. So it's not, I mean, there are groups I'm involved in that are rural homeschool groups. But and there's certainly families who do join for that reason as well. But no, there's families that can join from regional areas and from city areas and things as well. And it's just about I make the classes. It's not like a sign up for a term. It's a join for the classes that your child's or your family are interested in. And although a lot of families, especially returning families, they just book in for all of them because they know what they're like, they know their kids enjoy them, and that can coming back each week is a good thing as well. But often some families will join just for the particular ones they're interested in, and I think that's a really important factor. When if you're choosing what your child's interested in, then you're halfway there, aren't you? Than if you're just saying, okay, you're going to do this.
Yeah.
So I make it like that, and that seems to appeal to families as well.
Yeah. Well done. So what would you say would be the biggest benefit for homeschooling families coming along and using the Mind Stretchers services?
Yep. So like I mentioned, I think being able to pick and choose the what you're interested in. And I always aim to make the topics, I mean, I do literacy because again, that's another area that I'm passionate about. I love books and reading and getting kids into writing. And whether it's science or whether it's literacy, it's about sort of fueling that curiosity, sparking that curiosity, getting kids engaged. They might be talking about things, they might be using the chat, they might be chatting with someone at home if they don't want to talk in the group, and that's absolutely okay as well. So it's about sparking their interest and getting them thinking and talking. And often families get back in touch with me and say, oh, my child really enjoyed this, and we went off and it sparked this discussion and we did this follow-up activity, and that's what it's about. Each session is standalone, but I often hear from families that, oh, they got really interested in this, they went off and did this. And so it sort of spurred them on to other learning as well.
Excellent. The perfect feedback when the children are actually genuinely
Yeah,
interested outside of the lesson.
that's it. And when you hear back from parents, and I always, at the end of sessions as well, I always get feedback from the kids, and we do a little takeaway. It's okay, what was one thing you enjoyed, or one thing that you learned, or one question you've got? Because it's not just about answering all the questions. And sometimes things come up in the sessions, and I'm like, I don't know the answer to that, but how can we find that out? It's not about just telling kids everything, all the facts and things. Sometimes it's okay, we don't know that, but how can we find that out? What can we do to try and discover that for ourselves as well?
Excellent. Okay, that sounds great. Do you think there's anything we may have missed or anything else you'd like to share?
I often get questions from parents who are new to Mind Stretchers asking about things like, what if does my child need to have their camera on? Because I know certainly with my own kids, they do not like to have their cameras on. And I always just reassure families it's entirely up to you if you want to have your camera on or not. I do obviously encourage cameras on, and I do find that most kids will put their cameras on once they feel comfortable, but ultimately it's about them feeling comfortable. So it's not have to, but I do find they do end up putting the camera on at some point. But if they don't, like I said, they can communicate using the chat, or they might just be chatting with someone at home as well. So there's no, I don't put kids on the spot. When it comes to things like literacy, another thing I'm often asked is parents might say that their child doesn't like writing, they're reluctant to write. Are these classes going to be suitable for them? And they are, because I'm not setting tasks for them. They're not being asked that they don't have to share things they don't want to share. And again, I give lots of options for different ways they can participate, so they're not feeling like they have to do a certain thing. And then I guess that's where parents are support at home as well, because kids at different stages, some might be telling their ideas, some might be maybe the parents scribing for them. Okay, so I just try and make it like that so that there's not that pressure, but kids can have fun with literacy and experiment with different things as well. And I always say to parents as well, if you're not sure about a session, if it's going to be suitable for your child, for their age, for their interest, if there's something they find tricky, or something you think I need to know about, then just please get in touch. And parents can do that through the website. They can book a discovery call and we can have a chat, or they can reach out through email as well, because it is. I know when I look into classes for my kids, I always, you want to get the resources that are going to be right for your kids, that are going to suit them, and not be a chore for them to do, something that they're going to want to do and to get something from.
Excellent. That's great. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing. I will leave a link down below to mindstretchers.com.au for you to go and check out everything that Tracy has. I'm sure that, correct me if I'm wrong, but you do everything, even though you can sign up class per class, it is term by term. So people need to get in relatively early to make sure classes aren't full for the following term. Is that correct?
That's right. I always so the best way, because things always get lost in socials, unless you're liking posts and things, it's very easy to miss things. So I am on Facebook, Instagram, and X. But the best way to make sure you don't miss anything is to join the email list. So I just email every couple of weeks, and that's people on the email list will be the first to find out, right, we're about to release classes. And I always do an early bird offer as well, where you can get 25% off all classes too. So that's the best way, just to keep in the loop about things. But yeah, I do release new classes every term. And yeah, just getting quick for the ones that you want to do. Because I don't have huge classes either. I feel things can get a little bit lost if classes that are too big. So I do limit numbers and groups as well. Just so there's enough that we can have a group where I can engage with all the kids as well. They can interact and do all the activities without it just becoming too busy.
Yeah, excellent. Well, thank you. Thanks for sharing. So just a reminder, that's mindstretchers.com.au and jump on to the email list. Thanks, Tracy.
Thanks, Kylie.